When I was 11, we moved to a new city. Everyone in our new neighborhood was cold and distant, so I had almost no friends. My dad said that when school started, I would meet new people and everything would be fine. But school was still weeks away, and there was nothing I could do. Elisa Williams was the only person I wanted to be friends with. She was our next-door neighbor. Their house was a beautiful gray house with a large fence around the yard. I could hear her playing and giggling from the other side of the fence, and her voice sounded like a pleasant melody to me. I wasn't brave enough to meet her, but my mom helped me. I was standing behind my mom with a basket of cookies in my hand when she knocked on the door. The door was opened by a man with a poorly trimmed beard. "Elisa, come and bring your friend." Not now. The voice came from deep inside the house. The man shouted, "Elisa, come here right now." Then I heard footsteps coming down the stairs. "Oh, cookies?" I said excitedly. "I'm sorry." Elisa has become very withdrawn since her mother passed away. I'm sure a friend will do her good. At that moment, a question popped into my mind. Why was such a withdrawn person giggling so cheerfully? A short while later, Eliza came downstairs with a sullen expression on her face. All I could see were her socks, one green and one purple. I was so excited I couldn't even look at her. Elisa snatched the entire basket from my hands and hurried back upstairs. Her hair was black and wavy, just like her father's, except hers was longer and not as unkempt. Then she looked over her shoulder with a sullen expression. "Are you going to stand there or come inside?" Just as I was about to go inside, she stopped me. "Take off your shoes." I immediately took off my shoes. "No." "Don't take off your socks. What are you, a caveman?" "I'm sorry, ma'am." I don't know why I said that, but I was very afraid of her and didn't want her to take me out of the house. Elisa had a satisfied look on her face. She took me by the arm and took me back. "We don't need any more friends. There is no room for a third person in the game we're going to play." "But your father said." "He's not my father. He killed my father and is keeping me captive in this house." "Are you serious?" "Exactly," she said with a deep sigh. "But it's not that big of a deal. Sometimes he sends little boys for me to eat." I assumed I heard that because of my excitement. Elisa turned her eyes away and opened the door to her room. "I'm just joking. You can't be that stupid, can you?" At that moment, I realized I had been holding my breath. "I'm sorry, that was a silly question." Most fools don't know they're fools, but as long as you don't go under the knife or road, your foolishness isn't that important to me. The staircase and hallway were densely decorated with portraits, hanging wall carpets, and ornate tables filled with valuable items. Elisa's room, with its metal frame bed and dark wooden wardrobe, stood in stark contrast to the spaces. The walls were painted black, and the window was hidden behind a thick curtain. There was nothing on the hard wooden floor to disrupt the atmosphere. "How do you play that tool?" I asked. "Well," she said with stress and seriousness, "I play rituals, summoning spirits, things like that. You know what magic is, don't you?" "Yes, I do." Of course I knew nothing, but these were the first words that came to mind to hide my ignorance. I reached for the cookie jar, but Eliza slapped my hand. I stared in shock as she ate the cookies. My mother taught me this after she died. Elisa set the cookie jar aside and took something from the shelf. "If you want to play, hold out your hand." "Wait a minute. What do you mean? She taught you after she died." At the same time, I reached out my hand, trembling. I didn't get an answer to my question. "Now close your eyes." If she had told me to jump out the window, I probably would have my hand too. There was a sweet smile on her face, and I felt quite embarrassed as her soft hand held mine. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath. "Don't scream." My mom doesn't like people who scream. When I opened my eyes, all I could see was the reflection of a metal object. What I felt was pain. Elisa had stabbed something into my palm. I didn't exactly scream. It was more like a shriek. I immediately pulled my hand away. Come back. You're ruining everything. We both ran toward the door. I tried not to hit her, but Eliza pushed me and locked the door. You're wasting blood. Reach out your hand right now. No, you'll stab me again. I was starting to feel dizzy from blood loss. Cowardly chicken, she muttered. Your blood is already flowing. Why would I stab it again? Here, let me wipe some of your blood on my hand. She held out her hand. I did as he said. I smeared the blood on my hand onto his, and I could see his dark eyes gleaming with excitement. Actually, this was the best opportunity to escape, but I couldn't bring myself to do it. How does the blood spell work? My mother told me that in the ancient times, all living beings shared the same blood and passed it on to one another. Then we began to fight, and conflicts arose. Things got so bad that we drifted apart, and everyone began to take on different forms and beings, animals, and such. Time passed, and we forgot that we were once the same, but the only part of us that remained unchanged was our blood. Using the nail of his index finger, he skillfully drew a a triangle with a square inside it, then a small pentagon inside that. With deep concentration, he pressed a single drop of blood into the center of the design. What are you doing now? I asked. He smiled, but the smile was a bit odd. A dog in a dog food commercial? What did you think? Of course, it's magic. It really was. The flow of blood in his hand was normal at first, but it kept increasing and becoming brighter. My heart was pounding. So what now? I'm creating a friend for you. Isn't that what you wanted? I should have told him I didn't want a friend anymore, and that I wanted to get the hell out in this first place, but I couldn't. Yes, of course. That's why I came here. Alright, watch. The brightness in her hand grew stronger. The shapes began to move. After a while, I saw them constant. The sun was growing. Alyssa's veins were glowing beneath her skin. And from that strange plant, an even stranger fruit was taking shape. What should we name it? She asked. I had started to think that a stupid joke was coming, so I tried to relax a little more. I don't know, how about it? Then a face appeared on the fruit. At the time, I didn't know what a fetus looked like, but as I grew older, I realized that it was a fetus. How good she was. I wanted to be bigger than that, I said. Alyssa laughed. It's a big deal. When I play games with it, I always want to win. Got it. So, what does Sid like to eat? She asked. I took her hands out of the cookie jar. Well, cookies. It had grown even bigger now. I could see its little hands. So, what is it like? Her voice was hoarse, and I could see the blood flowing more strongly through the veins in her hand. It was clear she was in pain. I started to tense up again. It was clear now that this wasn't a joke. Look, Eliza, I don't like this game. I don't want to play it anymore. There's no going back. Answer me. What does Sid like? Eliza took a sharp breath and scowled. The plant had stopped growing, and it was now about the size of a watermelon. How was it growing so fast? Was it feeding on his blood? Stop IT. His name is Sid. He's a living being now. You must tell me why he likes you, or else I never liked him. Send him away. Send him away now. Hurry up. I can't do this without you. You're part of the spell. It was now bigger than a watermelon. Elisa couldn't lift it. Mr. Williams, help! Suddenly, I heard footsteps running upstairs, but the door was locked. No matter how hard Mr. Williams tried, I couldn't open it. What I saw then was even more terrifying. A hand emerged from the door, followed by the rest of the body. Sid was free now, almost as big as me. I heard Mr. Williams' voice. What's happening, Elisa? Are you okay, daughter? Alyssa was lying on the floor, gasping for breath. Blood spurted into the air, forming a red mist. I I coughed and jumped to the floor to avoid breathing. Sid crouched down in horror. His blue fur was visible through the vaporizing wind. Open the door, son. Are you there? I crawled toward the door. I could hear Sid doing something behind me. I reached the door lock and opened it. At that moment, I could hear Elisa's screams of pain. The man rushed inside, but it was too late. Sid had slit Alyssa's stomach open. He had buried his face in her bloody body, searching for something else. When he finally lifted his head on my face from the windows, I saw something in his blood-covered mouth. He was chewing on the just put in her stomach. Mr. Williams tried to grab him with a sudden move, but the monster moved too quickly. The man moved in front of the window to block his escape route, but Sid unexpectedly moved toward the cookie basket in the opposite direction. As Mr. Williams quickly grabbed the basket, Sid flew out of the room's door. "I'm so sorry." "It's all my fault," I said, crying. Mr. Williams hugged his daughter's lifeless body, sobbing. I could have stopped him. I could have told him not to hurt anyone, but I couldn't. "I'm so sorry. Listen to me, son. We have to leave here immediately before that thing comes back," he said. We ran out of the house. That beautiful gray house was no longer beautiful at all. That day, a monster was born. It lived with the sole desire to possess one thing, and it would never stop until it happened.